election monitoring and observation. In this class, we are going to be looking at who are election monitors and who are election observers and their respective roles in the conduct of elections in Nigeria. Also, we are going to identify some of the things election observers are supposed to do in relation to elections. So, by the Nigerian law, by the Electoral Act, only INEC can monitor elections. And monitoring in this essence means that only INEC can determine when conduct of an election has been fulfilled with and when there has been a violation of the Electoral Act and electoral processes. Others can only observe. Civil society actors, international groups, the civil society organization, international groups, foreign dignitaries, foreign observer missions can only observe. They cannot stop the electoral process. They cannot give mandates to INEC officials. They cannot influence the electoral process, but they can monitor, they can identify, they can document, and they can liaise with other stakeholders in the electoral process. There are 5 main roles that election observers can play. The first one is registration. Except you are registered with INEC, you cannot be an observer. So as civil society actors, as civil society groups, we must engage with INEC. We must liaise with INEC anytime there is a call for registration of election observers. And when we are registered as election observers, we have definite identification numbers, identification tags, and identification groups. Also, as election observers, one of the mandates you have, you are permitted to request and obtain information from INEC and its officials on matters related to election. So election observer on election, they can ask the managers of a polling unit the number of persons that have registered, the number of persons that have voted, the problems they've had. They can engage with agents of political party. They can engage with voters about the integrity of the electoral process. Also, they are allowed to assess and observe proceedings at the polling center. So what it means is that observers can come to the polling center, can sit down, engage, observe, document what has been noticed, engage with security services on what they've noticed. And also, they are allowed to engage with INEC officials on the challenges they face. They are allowed to engage with political parties on their perception of the electoral process. They are allowed to engage with security services on security threats to elections. And finally, they are allowed to ask questions about the electoral process. While observers do not have the legal mandate, like INEC, to stop elections, to influence elections, to waive processes in the electoral process, they play critical roles in framing the outcome of the election, in framing the integrity of election, in influencing how actors in the election participate. So as observers, political agents, political parties, security officials, INEC itself take cognizance of the fact that they are being observed. And so therefore, as election observer in elections, Go Vote monitors play a critical role in the integrity of the electoral process and in engendering belief in the electoral process.